Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Interesting Facts About Ancient Egypt, Part 2. Early on the previous video, which is Part 1, we talked about the Egyptian makeup and the Great Sphinx. This video we will talk about Egyptian board games, their organized labor and the cursed tomb of Tutankhamun. Third, Egyptian board games. The ancient Egyptians enjoyed passing their time playing board games. In fact, there were a number of board games like Mayan and Mancala, but the most popular was Senet. It was a hieroglyphic board game played in ancient Egypt as far back as 3100 BC. Even Tutankhamun had a copy of the Senet board in his tomb, untouched for 3,000 years until modern archaeologists found it. The game of Senet involved 2 players at a time. The board would consist of 30 squares drawn out in 3 rows of 10 squares each. Not all the squares were carved with hieroglyphs. The carved hieroglyphs were symbols that represented good or bad omens and changed the course of play accordingly. Fourth, organized labor. Many pyramids were built in ancient Egypt, so it is fair to say that an extraordinary number of workers were deployed in their construction. But the belief that all these majestic pyramids were built by slaves or prisoners is a baseless misconception. They were actually built by regularly paid workers. In fact, historians believe that given the sheer scale of labor and engineering skills required to build structures of such a massive size, at least 2 types of construction teams might have been deployed, both accompanied by a skilled, permanent workforce with royal stature. Laborers were paid in terms of regular rations. Most of the workers were valued for their skills, regardless of their background. Workers who lost their lives during the construction of the pyramids were honored and buried in tombs near to the great pyramids that they were building for their pharaohs. Fifth, Tutankhamun and the Cursed Tomb. Ancient Egypt saw the rise and fall of many popular pharaohs, including the likes of Khufu, Sneferu, Amenhotep, Ramses III, and Akhenaten. But the only known surviving and intact royal tomb is of the rather famous Egyptian king, Tutankhamun. It is such an irony that a boy king would become the greatest royal treasure from ancient Egypt, a pharaoh whose rule saw nowhere near the accomplishments of many of the other great Egyptian kings. King Tutankhamun's tomb offered a golden opportunity to modern historians to study a pristine mummy of an Egyptian king that had remained well preserved for more than 3 millennia. And then came the legend of the curse that would befall anyone who dared to open the tomb of King Tutankhamun. The discovery of the tomb in 1922 was followed by a series of incidents that included the tragic deaths of a number of people involved in unearthing the tomb. Nevertheless, it was Tutankhamun's tomb that helped modern society unravel the details of the new kingdom of ancient Egypt.